The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Draw me close to you, never let me go, and lay it all down again, to hear you say that I'm a friend.
Today, the Almighty Creator desires a deep personal relationship with you. My name is James Robertson. I'm a researcher, publisher, and teacher regarding the matters and truths of the Almighty Creator, whose true name is Yah, the eternally self-existing. I've been actively serving him since 1993, over 31 years. If you're not actively serving Yah, then by default you're serving Satan. My objective is to show you how you can make a big difference on earth and qualify for a position of high esteem in heaven for eternity. It's important to understand that as a believer, just being good is not the point. It is relationship with Yah that counts. Without this, you will be in a very unpleasant place in heaven with no way out. My aim is to show you how to get close to Father. If you're a good person without a clear relationship with Yah, then you're in a spiritual no man's land and will not enter heaven when you die. The Creator has said regarding unbelievers, why would I want someone to spend eternity with me when they do not believe I exist? Yah is calling everybody on the planet to be involved and serve him and help him to have victory over Satan. My goal is to show you how to do this. Fundamentally, we each need to learn to see things on earth from Yah's perspective, and my aim is to teach you how to do this. Please visit my website at www.endtimeissueministries.org. That's endtimeissueministries, one word, .org. Or email me on james@endtimeissueministries.org for more information. Today we're going to continue with part 4 of the article, The Good News Regarding Yahooshua, the Anointed of Yah, incorrectly Jesus Christ, according to Yahoo, incorrectly Matthew. In other words, this is the first book of the good news regarding Yahooshua. If you like, the first book in the New Testament in the Bible, in the Protestant Bible. So, overview. The first book in the so-called New Testament in the Bible, Yahoo, incorrectly Matthew, provides an authoritative account of the life, death, and resurrection of Yahooshua, the Anointed of Yah, incorrectly Jesus Christ. I've corrected the core translation errors and added commentary based on my personal experience and revelation. I will share this in the next few broadcasts. This is part 4. I will continue to read Yahoo and offer commentary, and finally we will look at the state of your relationship with the Almighty Creator. So we're dealing with Book 1, The Good News According to Yahoo, Part 4, continuing in Chapter 11. Verse 23, and now Capharnaum, which art exalted to heaven, shall be brought down to hell. For if the mighty works which have been done in thee had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I say to you that it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom in the day of judgment than for thee. At that time Yahooshua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Adonai of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them to babes. Even so, for it seemed good in thy sight. So there's an important principle here. Too much religious learning gets in the way of the truth. Bible school leads to indoctrination with false doctrines that make it very difficult to receive the truths presented in this commentary. And that goes, it doesn't matter what your religion is, folks. Yah is the teacher. Yah is the counselor. Yah is the savior. Yah is the healer. Yah protects. Yah provides. Turning to human beings for that is foolishness. Yahshua said, call no man rabbi, no man teacher. For one is your teacher, the anointing of the set-apart Spirit of Yah. And I just can't stress that enough. Somebody contacted me the other day asking me to help them financially to go to some conference. And I said to him, you need to get close to Father. You don't need money to go to a conference. You need to get close to Father. Father will teach you. Verse 27, all things are delivered to me of my Father, and no man knows the Son but the Father. No, neither knows any man the Father save the Son, and he to whomsoever the Son will reveal him. Come to me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest for your souls. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. The key point here is that the spirit being that was inserted into the embryo that became Yahshua was the first spirit created by Yah at the start of creation. And therefore the man Yahshua had an exceptional relationship with Father Yah and deep insight into Yah's way of doing things, as well as the state of things on earth. I'm meek and lowly in heart. I will give you rest. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Folks, if you are striving to serve Father, if you are laboring in a physical, human sense, that's not the plan. Give yourself to Him. Invite Him to dwell in you. Invite Him to guide you. Commit yourself to Him. Worship daily, at least an hour. Pray daily, on your knees, at least an hour. Read about Him and His works and His ways and His kingdom, at least an hour. And the rest will fall into place for you. You need to learn about dealing with the demonic and satanic realm. You need to walk in the authority that Yeshua purchased for you. But it's not that difficult. Chapter 12, verse 1. At that time, Yeshua went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungry and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said to him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. But he said to them, Have you not read what David did when he was hungry, and they that were with him? How he entered into the house of Yah and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests? Or have you not read in the Torah how that on the Sabbath day the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? Notice the fault-finding over minor issues. There was so much of great impact happening around Yeshua. Folks, to that extent, the first few seasons of the movie, The Chosen, makes this quite visible. Yeshua was performing miracles, and yet the scribes and the Pharisees and the high priests were pedantically criticizing him for little things where he was breaking man-made laws. There's a thing there around working on the Sabbath that Moshe condemned to death a man who was gathering sticks on the Sabbath. The issue was that he could have gathered the sticks on another day, not that he made a fire to cook on the Sabbath. So they extend it to be careful, and in the process they sin, and they create transgressions that are not transgressions. Verse 6, but I say to you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if you had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless. For the son of Adam is Adonai, even of the Sabbath day. But when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue, and behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him? And he said to them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath. Then he saith to the man, Stretch forth thy hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like as the other. Then the Pharisees went out and held a council against him, how they might destroy him. But when Yahooshua knew it, he withdrew himself from thence, and great multitudes followed him, and he healed them all, and charged them that they should not make him known. So there's a bit of a paradox here. He's healing everybody left, right, and center, and he's saying, don't make it known. There's a bit of optimism there, I think. But the key point there, folks, is it wasn't Yahooshua that healed the man with a wizened hand. It was Yah. Yah is the one who gave the commandment, remember the Sabbath day, the seventh day, and keep it set apart. And yet here these human beings who claim to represent Yah on earth condemn Yah himself for healing this man. Because it was not Yahooshua that healed him. He simply exercised his money. He was the conduit whereby the Spirit of Yah in Yahooshua healed the man. And that is an example of how believing authorities turn against Yah, the one that they claim to champion. I, on several occasions, was condemned by religious authorities in churches because the message I was bringing from Yah was not to their liking. On one occasion, my wife and I were sitting at the back of a church when a visiting emissary prophet came and preached, and they had video cameras up and so forth. And he summoned us from the back of the church, called us to the front, asked for oil, anointed us, and proclaimed a dramatic blessing over us and declared that Father was well pleased with us. The Spirit of Yah came upon the video cameraman who had his camera trained on us, and he was slain in the Spirit, leaving the camera focused on us. The following week, I got a phone call and they kicked me out of the church. So this Pharisaism is still very much part of modern religion. Verse 17, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Yeshayahu, the spokesman of Yah, saying, Behold my servant, whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Hagoyim. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, and a smoking flax shall he not quench, till he send forth judgment to victory. And in his name shall the Hagoyim trust. Then was brought to him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench. Folks, if you go back a few months, I read the letter of Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Israel, at the time of Yahooshua, to the emperor in Rome, in which he describes how Yahooshua was peaceable and respectful towards the Roman authorities. If you've not either heard that broadcast or read it, it's on the website. Please go and listen to it or read it. It's a sobering view where an unbeliever was did more to recognize Yahooshua than the people who claimed to be waiting for the Messiah. Verse 23. And all the people were amazed and said, Is not this the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This fellow doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebul, the prince of the devils. And Yahooshua knew their thoughts and said to them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan shall cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then shall his kingdom stand? And if I by Beelzebul cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of Yah, then the kingdom of Yah is come to you. Or else how can one enter a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house? There's a tendency amongst arrogant believers to pass this sort of judgment, which in turn brings harsh judgment from Yah. I don't know, I haven't been counting, but it must be 10 or 20 times where I've had pretty strong believers who disagreed with something that I said, who have accused me of listening to Satan. In the process, they effectively blaspheme the Spirit of Yah in me, and they may well lose their salvation. So just a word of warning, if you find somebody who claims to be speaking on behalf of Yah and you disagree with them, rather just say, I disagree with you. Leave it at that. Don't say you're listening to devils. It could harm you grievously. What do I mean by grievously? You get to heaven, you're told you're rejected, all your sins are laid out to you, you spend time in hell paying the price of all your sins, and when you get out of hell, you're cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where in a moment of torment and terror, you are utterly destroyed. Think about it the next time you're thinking of cursing one of your servants. So 29, or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house? He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. Wherefore I say to you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven to men, but the blasphemy against the set-apart Spirit shall not be forgiven men. That's the point that I just made. And whosoever speaks a word against the Son of Adam, it shall be forgiven him. But whoever speaks against the set-apart Spirit, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come. Either make the tree good and his fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by his fruit. This is absolutely critical. When someone is being led by the Spirit of Yah and someone else, a believer, does not understand what the first person is doing or saying, or disagrees with what they're doing or saying, and then attributes the action or words to Satan, that is true blasphemy. And that person runs the risk of being rejected for eternity and cast into the lake of fire and brimstone to be utterly consumed in a moment of torment and terror after they've been judged. Verse 34, O generation of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. A good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. But I say to you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. And certain of the scribes and the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said to them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the spokesman of Yah, Jonah. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Adam be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Important to understand that words are enduring in the spirit realm. Once spoken, words continue until they have done the work that they were expressed to do. Idle words have no work to do and continue forever until the day of judgment of the believer concerned. Thus one must be selective in the words one speaks. Notice that Yahooshua was not pulling his punches. An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. Bear in mind that based on what we read a few minutes ago, Yahooshua had healed hundreds, maybe even thousands of people. And the scribes and the Pharisees come asking for a sign. Very silly. Verse 41. The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and behold, the greater than Jonah is here. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Shalomo, and behold, the greater than Shalomo is here. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he saith, I will return to my house from whence I come. When he has come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Then goes he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also to this wicked generation. It's an important principle. When somebody is freed of demons, if they commit sin and open the door for the demons to return, they will come back stronger. If you want to get free of demons, you need to get serious about keeping all 10 of the 10 commandments, which is more difficult than it sounds because the church is lying about the 10 commandments, or the church or the Torah keepers or the whatever. On my website, there's a page on the commandments which explains what the commandments really mean. Get that on, go to that page, clean up your act, go to the page on prayer, pray the prayers to get rid of demons and stay out of sin, and you'll stay free of demons. They have no legal right towards you if you're free of sin. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. And one said to him, Behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and saith to them that told him, Who is my mother and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand towards his followers and said, Behold, my brother, my mother, and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Chapter 13. Same day went Yahooshua out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together to him. So that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spoke many things to them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside. The fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who has ears to hear, let him hear. And the followers came and said to him, Why speakest thou to them in parables? He answered and said to them, Because it is given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever has, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever has not, from him shall be taken away even that he has. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because they, seeing not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Yahooshua, which saith, But by hearing you shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart has become thickened, and their ears are dull of hearing. In their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. This is very topical in the current age. There are a huge number of believers and pseudo-believers who know they think they know, who think they know and understand, yet are deeply deceived. Note that there are only a small number of true believers on earth today. See the article, The Demographics of Unbelief, on the website. Or The Demographics of the Kingdom. Folks, there are a huge number of people, irrespective of religion, who think they understand and do not. They place their reliance in the Quran or the Torah or the Bible or whatever, or some sacred book of Buddhism or whatever. They don't have a relationship with Yah. They don't understand they need to have a relationship with Yah. They're effectively worshippers of their book. People have been put to death for sins against the Quran. It's crazy. The Quran's just a book. The Bible's just a book. The Torah's just a book. The whatever's just a book. It's written by fallible human beings based on their limited understanding of the Creator. None of it's definitive. It doesn't matter how close somebody is to Yah, there's still an element of their carnality and their flesh that gets in the way. There are things that I did 10, 15, 20 years ago where I sincerely believed I was being led by Father, only to discover years later that I wasn't. Because looking back, it didn't fit together. It is very easy to miss Yah. It's not easy to stay on track with Him for your entire life. It takes time and effort and discipline and worship and prayer and study, but not Bible study, not Bible school, or whatever they call it in your particular variation of religion. Verse 16, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Verily I say to you that many spokesmen of Yah and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. Hear you therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, Then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receives it. Yet he has not rooted himself, but endureth for a while. When tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he stumbles. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he fitting unfruitful. But he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit and bringeth forth, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. The seed among thorns I encounter as a significant challenge for many. They start out strong, but the battles of survival and making a living, etc., wear them down to a point where they give up and cease seeking to serve Father Yah. Bearing fruit for Yah is absolutely critical. It is not enough to worship and believe. One must do something actively to further Yah's objectives on earth, and this must be ongoing and sustainable. We're each called to a ministry and must do what is necessary to perform that ministry. One can also invest tithes, a tenth of one's income, in a ministry that you believe is fruitful. The cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches. Folks, he's not saying that you can't be wealthy, but you need to get wealthy because of your service to Yah, because he's blessed you, not because you've gone chasing after it. As far as tithes are concerned, if you're a committed believer, you should be giving tithes to a ministry that is feeding you, that you believe is giving truth. It's the responsibility of people who don't have a ministry that they are directly financing themselves, their own ministry, to give a tithe to a ministry that is feeding them, that is helping them to grow with Yah. I have one person who recently started giving me tithes, and he shared with me a few weeks ago that his finances had improved dramatically after he started giving me tithes. And I invest the tithes in mailing lists, in hosting the websites, in funding these broadcasts, and so forth. 24. Another parable put he forth to them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened to a man which sowed good seed in his field. While men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said to him, Sir, didst thou not sow good seed in thy field? From whence then has it tares? And he said to them, An enemy has done this. The servants said to him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? And he said, Nay, lest while you gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather you together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. This speaks to the error, deception, sin, rebellion, etc., that Satan has sown in the world, interspersed with a few true believers still in existence at the time of writing, which was August 23. The unbelievers will be destroyed in the lake of fire and brimstone when, if Yeshua returns in victory at the end of the age, around May 3003, 979 years from now. Folks, some time ago, probably about 2 years ago, was listening to a really rousing song of worship, which was sung by about 60 people in harmony over the internet during the lockdown. Might have been 3 years ago. probably 2020, actually, maybe even 4 years ago. The harmony was beautiful, the voices were beautiful. They were all online all over the United Kingdom. And Father said to me, only 20% of those people believe in me. So here are people singing of Yah and praising Yah, and 80% of them don't know what they're doing. They're not even going to be in heaven. Unless you have a clear, settled assurance that Yah is the creator of the heavens and the earth, and that you have a relationship with him, and that you're working hard to please him and to spend eternity with him, you're not going to cut it. It's that brutal. Verse 31. Another parable put he forth to them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and fitting a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. And another spoke to him, the kingdom of heaven is like to leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. All these things spake Yahooshua to the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not to them, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the spokesman of Yah, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, and I will utter things that have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Folks, it's not good enough to hear and not understand. You need to come to a place where you do understand. You need to come to a place where you're saying, Father, help me to understand. Father, reveal to me what this is about. You need to have a relationship with the Creator. All the rest is fluff and stuff, folks. He wants to be your friend. He wants you to be his friend. And you're not going to get there by going to church on Sunday, synagogue on Saturday, or mosque on Friday. It's fluff and stuff. It's a waste of time. Commit yourself to him. Get on your knees before him. Worship him. You don't have to go to church or synagogue or mosque or whatever to do that. You don't need some other human being to lead you to do that. You do it yourself. Verse 36. Then Yahooshua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came to him, saying, declare to us the parable of the tares of the field. You see, even they didn't understand. And he answered and said to them, he that soweth the good seed is the son of Adam. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. The tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the messengers. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Adam shall send forth his messengers, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that are stumbling blocks, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who has ears to hear, let him hear. Read The Final Quest by Rick Joyner for information on stumbling blocks. It's on the website. If you look at the ETI Bible version webpage under that, you'll find The Final Quest. Very powerful story. So just get the message here. Here are the people who are directly associated with Yahooshua, and they didn't understand the parables. It's important to understand that even people who are close to an anointed person don't necessarily understand that person and don't necessarily understand what they do, because they're not party to the conversations between that person and Yah. Verse 44. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like to treasure hid in a field, the which when a man has found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goes and selleth all that he has, and buyeth that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like to a merchantman seeking goodly pearls, who when he has found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like to a net which was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The messengers shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. So vital to understand relationship with Yah is a great treasure. Once you get a revelation of who Yah is, if you get when you get a revelation of heaven, a revelation that it's possible for you to sit on a high throne with him for eternity, it becomes a pearl of great price. It's a treasure. It's hidden. It's not immediately visible. Once you realize it, you will do whatever it takes to take hold of that treasure. That's the meaning of that. So I'm out of time again. I'll continue with this next week. In closing, I'd like to ask you, what is the state of your relationship with the Almighty Creator? I'd like to ask you to critically examine where you are relative to the Almighty Creator. Do you talk to him constantly throughout the day and allow him to lead you in every possible way? Do you worship him at every opportunity? Have you clearly and unambiguously heard him call you friend? If not, you're failing in your life purpose and will be bitterly disappointed when you die. If you've now come to belief, please pray along the following lines. Father Yah, I come to you in the name of Yahooshua. I now believe that you exist. I confess my sin of unbelief, and I repent of my unbelief, and I ask you to forgive my sin. I now commit my life to you, and I ask you to take me by the hand and lead me into deep relationship with you. I ask you to fill me with your Spirit and to change me and help me to become the person you want me to become. I ask you to help me find people who can help me and help me find books, websites, articles, and other resources that will help me. I ask you to show me what I can do to actively serve you and lead others to deep personal relationship with you. I thank you for saving me. There's a period of 8 days from sincerely coming to belief for the first time, during which there is extreme grace to help you. See the article, Critical Actions on First Belief, the actions you should take immediately. Drop me an email at james@endtimeissueministries.org so I can help you, pray with you, counsel you, etc. I really encourage you, if you have not at some stage accepted Yah as your King, as your Adonai, your Lord, your Savior, do so now. Jesus is not the answer. Yah is the answer. Yeshua is the correct name of the man called Jesus, and his name means Yah is salvation. Jesus, Yeshua, is not salvation. Yah is salvation. So in closing, thank you for listening. Please send me your questions to james@endtimeissueministries.org. Please email me to join the mailing list at james@endtimeissueministries.org. If you desire to draw close to the Almighty, please let me know, and I can connect with you by Skype, Zoom, Teams, email, or telephone so that I can help you with your journey. I hope to connect with you again next week, when I will continue to explore how to become a friend of the Creator. Work with me to make a way for Yahooshua to return in victory at the end of the millennium and make his enemies his footstool. If this is your first or second time on this channel, please stay with me. I've got some things I want to share with you. If you've been attending for a while, I'm going to say good night now and go safely. If you haven't yet committed to Yah, I encourage you to do so right now, or when you go to bed tonight, get on your knees next to your bed and just make a commitment to Him. It's not difficult. It'll change your life if you do what you need to do. So for those of you who are staying on, in closing, who am I? James Robertson. I have a doctorate in engineering and I'm a retired military commander. I now work as a management consultant. I have over 31 years' experience of actively seeking to draw close to the Almighty, following a dramatic encounter with Him on the 12th of March 1993, when He spoke to me audibly in a locked room, and I knew for certain that He was real. In learning about Father, I applied my deep-seated aversion to failure, born out of an accident in early childhood, coupled to my engineering and military training of rigor and preventing failure, to my seeking of knowledge about Father. This journey led to numerous supernatural experiences, prayers answered, and clear communication with the Creator that forms the basis for what I teach in these programs. See the video, Why Seek Relationship, for an overview of what I believe. Please visit my website at www.endtimeissueministries.org. That's endtimeissueministries, one word, .org. The ETI version of the Bible with correction of key translation errors is on the ETI Bible version page. Recordings of nearly all of the teachings broadcast so far search on Google for Relationship with Creator Radio. There are about 4 podcast websites with all the back issues. Transcripts of the broadcasts are on the Transcripts of Broadcast page, and those also have recordings of most of the broadcasts. Books with teachings from 1998 till May 2019 are at the Books for Printing page. A4 and A5 books formatted for printing with in PDF format with PDF covers. I publish regular email articles. Email me at james@endtimeissueministries.org. That's endtimeissueministries, the same as above, .org, to be added to the list or to seek counsel or prayer or give me feedback. Visit the website and use the Google search, article keyword cloud, table of contents, and article search to locate the information you're looking for. Folks, that's it. I'm going to say good night. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't yet prayed to Yah, to commit your life to Him, I urge you to do it. This broadcast has been live streamed on LinkedIn. It'll be on YouTube in the next hour or two, and I will be sharing it with my WhatsApp group tomorrow. Thank you so much. Go well.
Father, I come to you, lifting up my hands. By your grace I stand, just because you love me. I know your favor.
Hi, I'm James Robertson. I want to ask you what you understand about the history of Yahooshua, the Anointed of Yah, incorrectly called Jesus Christ. If you're not aware of his life and teachings, then please listen to my broadcast on w4cy.com radio or talk4tv.com internet TV. Also visit my website at www.endtimeissueministries.org or email me on james@endtimeissueministries.org to find out more. Thanks so much. Cheers.